What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here with an update on recent bannings and suspensions on Amazon. It seems like Amazon is handing this one out like it's COVID or the flu. They are very vigilant about attacking people that are doing this one thing. And chances are you might be doing it, especially if you are a savvy seller. So you definitely want to pay attention to what they're doing here by watching what I talk about in this video. So I'm super fired up to show you what this thing is. I hope you're fired up. Let's do this. All right, so we're about to jump into my screen share. I want to remind people this particular violation that we're about to talk about is something that's fairly new and not really in a sense, but I want to say that the fact that Amazon has become more vigilant about suspending people that violate this is quite rampant right now. So layman's terms, Amazon's going ape shit right now, issuing this suspension. And if you are guilty of this, and I don't even want to say that you're guilty, but on Amazon you are guilty until proven innocent. But if you've done this recently, it's making a lot of people rethink having done this. And I'll talk about what this is here in a second. But first, before I even jump into the details of this suspension that's caught on like wildfire lately, let me first say that my email is below in case you are dealing with a sticky suspension that you've been unable to find help with anywhere else. I do have an entire team dedicated to this that they're pretty darn good. They are getting people unsuspended left and right, getting people's money back, which are a couple key elements of what's happening lately if you do get suspended with Amazon. So my email is below, but let's go ahead and jump into some more of the details of this. So the name is blurred out just so you guys don't have to know who violated this, because a lot of us are guilty of this shit right here. But let's talk about what this is. Now, this does qualify as part of a Section 3 suspension, which is just becoming Amazon's term for all freaking suspensions. They're lumping all this crap underneath one basket, but there is a more serious one than the Section 3 suspension, and that's just one of the Section 3 suspensions, is labeled as something called Code of Conduct, or COC for short. People went nuts when I was talking about COC last time. It was just bananas in the comments, but I do appreciate those. I'm clearly joking, but it is COC, it's COC, right? COC is COC. So let's talk about what this particular suspension deals with and how or why or how to combat it in general. That's what people want to know. How do I get my account back? Can I get my account back? It's quite simple actually, but it does require wordsmithing in a way and knowing what documentation to send into Amazon as well as what to say to them. So let's talk about all those things and more. This particular deactivation qualifies again as Section 3, and what it is funds will stay in the account, but this happens because the account in general, as it says right here, repeatedly submitted high volumes of FBA reimbursement money claims for missing from inbound driven by improper document submission or purchase invoices that were ineligible for reimbursement. So what happens here? It's basically saying that you've requested through customer service too many refunds since items were misplaced by Amazon, and or you misproperly labeled documents that were sent to Amazon and shit just didn't match up. So in other words, Amazon is just, before they used to be quite robotic about this. If you sent things in and they were missing, they would automatically take the blame and they would reimburse you. So now what they're realizing is that people have caught on to this, and there are a lot of sellers that are taking advantage of this. So in other words, they might say that they sent something and not really have sent it so that they could just get free money from Amazon. And Amazon has finally caught on. The jig is up, people. If you were doing this unethically, it's up. And on top of it, you cost everybody else who was doing this rightfully so a lot of money. So they're pissed off because now these people are being suspended, and a lot of them rightfully so are owed money by Amazon because they truthfully sent in an item which was somehow lost. So here it says, how do you reactivate the account? Well, here it is. You got to submit the following justification for the claims of claiming whatever ASIN you said that you lost, right? So supply chain documentation such as invoices or receipts for the inventory that you have filed FBA reimbursement claims against. This is basically just required to verify authenticity of the supply chain. Information of the supplier And then information, a couple other documents that you can read about right here. It says item quantities. You may remove pricing information. I do highly recommend that because Amazon, if anything, is a thief of your data, and they secretly use this information for not only launching their own private label brands, but gathering intelligence so that they can essentially make more money. So they are pretty much being really dirty about things. They're dirty people. Dirty motherfuckers is what I really want to say. And they're handing out the cock. So come on. And then finally, you've got to notify them if the item's imported. You've got to show them import or export documents that are required. So then they give you the ASIN number. So what they're really asking for here is a piece of paperwork or a invoice that they approve. Now, remember, they are quite selective about what they approve. So this is where the wordsmithing comes into play. And this is where just having your documents and making sure you keep track of those is vitally important. With this particular seller, he had submitted multiple invoices, which was basically the same invoice. And because he wasn't wording more or less his appeal correctly, it still kept getting declined. So again, this is still a violation which ties up your money. And it is going to be tied up for some time until they feel that you've sent the proper information, paperwork, and words to get them to unsuspend you. And this is one of the most common and rampant violations going on right now. Obviously, Section 3s and cocks are being handed out left and right. Those will always be handed out left and right because that is the new basket of everything that Amazon lumps under. But there's still a lot of other violations. The other one that I have not even created a video for is account linking. So I might have. I've got to check back and take a look. If I haven't, I will make one of those next week and talk a little bit about how to get about those. But for this one, just make sure you submit what they ask for. And if you still can't get it done, then I just want to remind you, my email is below. You can reach out to me at any time and I can try and help you do that. And that's it. It's pretty much that simple and that easy to come back from this particular violation. However, from this point forward, I do want to remind you that the only time that you want to submit for a refund of lost items is when you are in fact certain that the items were sent and you have the documentation to back that up. So the people out there that were taking advantage of this and making that extra money or getting extra money from Amazon, don't do it anymore because you're risking that your account not only gets suspended, but straight up terminated. Remember that multiple violations of any one thing, if you commit this violation again and they catch you and your apology falls along the same lines that it did last time, you'll immediately be banned for life. It doesn't matter how much money you make, Amazon. I've seen friends of mine that have made $1 million worth of just subscribe and saves get instantly banned and removed from Amazon. And they had to start the entire empire over just at the point where they were about to sell the brand. So don't let this happen to you. You clearly aren't going to have $1 million worth of subscribe and saves, or you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But don't risk losing your Amazon account because they become so vigilant even about creating Amazon accounts that it's going to be very difficult to get another one without getting it linked. So that's it for this video. I promised I'd be short and sweet. Again, my email is below in case you want to talk about suspensions. Other than that, questions and comments go below. I always personally answer those. Stay out of trouble, and I'll see you next time.